Hey everyone, it's Chris back again, and this has been a long time coming, but I feel like I finally have enough games to show off for an epic pickups video. This may be my biggest one yet. I'm not sure. I might have to go back and check, but I got 26 new games for you guys. Well, for me to show you guys anyways. But I guess we'll just get it started right away. I'll start with some of the newest ones. This one, Paper Mario, Color Splash. This is the newest Paper Mario game. I actually got a pretty good deal on this. I basically price matched this on Best Buy with Amazon's price, but they also gave me the GCU credit on top of it, even though I'm pretty sure they weren't supposed to. So I got this for like $30, I believe. And I haven't actually played it yet, I will admit, but yeah, this may be my last generation of consoles, so I wanted to make sure to get every single Paper Mario game. So yeah, I have every single Paper Mario, every single Mario RPG at this point. So yeah, I picked up Paper Mario. I guess it's a little better than Sticker Star, but it's kind of the same formula where you use stickers to attack and such. So kind of still disappointed in that way. It wasn't like a retread of Thousand Year Door or anything. But I heard it's better, and I like how the art style looks in it, so I will definitely give it a try once I get through the rest of the Paper Mario games, which, who knows, that'll be a while. But next up, one I got from Limited Run Games, and I've been waiting for this one for a while. Darius Burst CS, Chronicle Saviors. And, you know, it's from the long-running Darius series. I don't know if that's the way to pronounce it, Darius or Darius, but, yeah, this was originally a PSP game, I believe, and then they ported it to the arcades and added a little bit to it. And then they ported it to mobile phones, and then I believe they finally ported it to the PS4 digitally and added a new scenario. But then obviously I got it physical from Limited Run Games. This is pretty limited too. I believe this one might be, I don't know, it might be like 2,800 copies or something. So I could have gotten the collector's edition, but for the price I didn't think it was really worth it. I just love my shoot 'em ups though. This is a 2D shoot 'em up game if you didn't know. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's actually the first Darius game I've owned, or at least it was. I might have a couple more here to show you. But yeah, I was really excited to get this. It's really awesome so far. I think Gradius 5 might be my favorite shoot 'em up still, but this is really good and close to that quality. And then next up, we got this one, Dark Souls 3 Fire Fades Edition. And this is basically, you know, the Game of the Year edition with all the DLC on the disc. So of course I'm going to go for that. Love the original, was waiting on the DLC, hoping there'd be something like this, and they finally announced it. So yeah, picked it up, got the GCU Best Buy discount on it. So I think I must have paid like 40 something. I think it was 50 new. But yeah. It's cool. I've been playing it a bit with the PS4 Pro patch. As far as that PS4 Pro patch, they basically left it the same resolution, 1080p, but they unlocked the frame rate, so it kind of hovers between 45 and 50 frames. I don't like that. I wish, if they can't achieve solid 60 frames, I wish they would just leave it at 30 and like make this 1440p or 1800p like they usually do, because unstable 60 frames per second just doesn't do it for me. So, but yeah, what can you do? Still a great game. I haven't gotten to the DLC yet. I'm working through it with a friend of mine, so hopefully we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, it's very cool to have all the DLC on a disc. I wish they would always do this with every single game that gets DLC, but unfortunately that's not the case. And then here's another one that I've been waiting for a while. Got delayed, I think, maybe 2 times, yeah, and that is River City Melee Battle Royale SP. Sorry, I forget the name. It's kind of long. But yeah, this was basically the Melee battle mode from Super Sports Challenge, but more expanded on. It's still pretty bare bones. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed by this because it's really repetitive. Like, it's the same arena over and over. There's a couple other arenas, but they just make you play the same battles over and over and over, and it's not quite as good as something like Smash Brothers or Power Stone 2 or something, but it's kind of in that vein where it's like a 4-player fighter. Maybe this is more fun multiplayer. It does have an online mode, I'm pretty sure. So maybe I need to jump online and see how fun that is. It's probably pretty fun locally if you play 4-player, you know, brawler. It's probably similar to Smash Brothers in a way. But yeah, this is more of a niche pickup just to have all the River City games. I had to import this from PlayAsia, and yeah, it got delayed like twice. So yeah, it took like an extra at least month and a half to come out, and then like a week or two to ship. But yeah, finally got it, and it's okay. I don't know. The 3DS River City, what was it called? Tokyo Rumble. Now that was a good game. That's a true River City game. There was also a 3DS River City game that takes place in ancient Japan, and that's kind of a remake of an NES game of a similar fashion. I wish they would have brought that one over as well, but maybe they still will. Who knows? But okay, next up, I guess we'll start with some semi-newer games. First one is this. Tenchu Z for 360. Now this is another K2 developed Tenchu game rather than the original developers Acquire. But it's pretty good. I mean, it's kind of classic Tenchu gameplay. You know, it's got the grappling hook and different stealth kills and such. But it feels unfinished, and from what I looked up, it was actually a rushed game. There's not a lot of story. You revisit some of the same areas to do kind of simplistic missions in the same areas. And one thing they screwed up on is the Tenchu games always had different layouts for each level. So the enemy layouts were always kind of random. Well, not random, but there's always like 3 different layouts. I believe in this game there's only one layout for the enemies in every single level. So it gets a little bit repetitive. But I played a little bit of it and the mechanics are solid. It really made me wish that they made a second one and expanded on it, because this is almost like how Splinter Cell Conviction was on 360. That game, you know, kind of started some good ideas, but it was too bare bones and it didn't feel fleshed out. And then Splinter Cell Blacklist came out and it perfected all of that. And I love Blacklist. That's a really good game. Even though it sucks that Michael Ironside isn't the voice actor, Splinter Cell Blacklist improved everything that was wrong with Conviction. And that's definitely what they could have done with the Tenchu Z series. If they made a Z2 or whatever, it would have been fantastic, because there's really good groundwork in this game. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be, and who knows when we'll see another Tenchu game. But if they expanded on this with a new one, it would be awesome. Okay, next up, another 360 game, and this one just arrived today. This was the one I was waiting for to do this video, and that is Raiden 4. This is another 2D shoot 'em up. This is a vertical scrolling shoot 'em up, so it's kind of like letterboxed in the middle of the widescreen. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a bit like Ikaruga looking, but you know, a little bit different style. And you can see here I got I think this is a special edition or something, so it has the soundtrack and then the game itself. So yeah, I paid like $30 for this. There was a receipt inside from Best Buy. Whoever bought this got it for 20 bucks at Best Buy in 2012. So yeah, it's gone up, you know, $10 since 2012. So hey, I'm glad I picked it up finally because I'm trying to get all the best shoot 'em up games, and this looks excellent. There's also a Raiden 3, I believe. Yeah, I think it's Raiden 3's on PS2. I'd like to get that one. It looks very similar to this one, just not in HD. So, and then there's a collection of Raiden 1 and 2 on PS1. It's called the Raiden Project. But I believe that's like $100–120 on eBay. So, yeah, that might be a future pickup, but it's one of those pipe dream type of pickups like Rule of Roses for me on PS2. I used to have Rule of Rose, but my ex took it with her. So, unfortunately, that game is like $200. So who knows when I'll be able to rebuy that, but I would like to eventually, as well as the Raiden project for completing my Raiden collection. But maybe I'll get Raiden 3 at least, because that's not too expensive. I believe Raiden 3 on PS2 is like $30–40. Okay, I guess I will show you next some Xbox original games that I picked up. And the first one is one I found at Goodwill recently for $4. Probably not the greatest price, but it's SpiderMan 2. Now, a while back in an older pickups video, you saw I picked up SpiderMan 1 at Goodwill. And someone in the comments had mentioned that SpiderMan 1 wasn't the good game, that this was the good game. And now I see why, because this one's like open world. It has better production values, it looks like. And I think this one has more of the actors from the movies in it than the first one did. So I'm glad to finally pick this up. For $4, it's okay price. I think it's like, you know, $8 plus shipping on eBay, so whatever. It's cool to have. It's pretty... I booted it up and played it for a little bit, and the graphics look really nice for, you know, older generation standards. So pretty cool. I will definitely try to play this game a bit more. I don't know if I'll bother playing the first game since that's supposedly not as great. And then this one I found at Madison, Wisconsin, pre-played, and that is Star Wars Republic Commando. Now I paid about the going rate for this. It was, I think it was $25, something like that, maybe 20. But I was okay with that. I think it's like 25 to 30 on eBay with the shipping. So, you know, paid about that rate. But I just kind of ignored this game back in the day because, I don't know, I was kind of in the craze of Xbox Original where I wanted really crazy graphics like Doom 3 and Far Cry and Half-Life 2. But looking back at this, even if you don't like Star Wars, this is a really good shooter. Like, it's very highly polished. It's a console exclusive. It's on PC as well. You can get it on Good Old Games, and it runs really good on PC. But I wanted the physical copy, obviously. It's highly polished, fun gameplay. It's like tactical shooter. So it looks kind of like a mix of Halo and like Rainbow Six, but with, you know, Star Wars prequel era stuff. So yeah, it's cool. I'm glad I picked it up. There's a couple more Star Wars games I still want to get, but this is definitely really good, and I should have bought it back in the day, but I didn't think it would be that great. Probably because I was kind of burned out from the prequels being kind of shitty. So, so I got a couple more Xbox Original. Really enjoying collecting for Xbox Original because it's really cheap and there's some great games on it, and it has some of the best you know, third-party like multi-platform ports, and this is one of the examples. I picked up The Suffering, and then I picked up The Suffering Ties That Bind. So first I actually found Ties That Bind first at my local used game store. So I'm like, okay, I got this for like, I think I got this maybe $8 to $10. I'm like, okay, I might as well get this one too. So I had to go on eBay to get the first one, but it's very cool. I have both. It's a midway kind of horror game. I don't know if it's survival horror because it's more action-y, but it's in a prison, so, you know, it's got that prison setting. But yeah, it's kind of Western cliche horror, but you know, it's a nice version of the game. I think you can get these on PC as well, but obviously I want physical copies. So I'm gonna play through this series at some point. I was actually waiting to get all these pickups before I started playing most of this, because I get in this mindset where, like, if I know I'm gonna pick up a bunch of other games, I just, for some reason, I want to buy them all before I start playing them all. So I just feel like I'm done hunting and I can just sit down and enjoy them. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but that's why I haven't really played a lot of these. I played some of them so far, but yeah, now I'm really gonna get down to it because I think I've gotten through my purchasing spree for this year as far as retro games. There's a couple others that I was gonna try to pick up for this video, but I couldn't find one of them locally, and I got to go on a trip in a few days, so you know, I didn't want to order it online, so maybe I'll get that for the next pickups video. But okay, let's move on. I guess we'll do the PSP games. So I picked up a couple good ones. Two of them are imports, and you'll kind of see a theme with the games. And the first one is Tenchu, Time of the Assassin. This is the European import. Now this was Japan and Europe only, like, exclusive Tenchu game for the PSP. It uses the same foundation of, like, Wrath of Heaven, Return to Darkness, and Fatal Shadows. So it's kind of that PS2 era Tenchu game, but yeah, it's all original. Fortunately, this one has a lot of fog in the levels. It's kind of akin to the old Tenchu games, how there was always like a wall of blackness ahead of you. But the gameplay is very solid. The story, it has like an intro movie for each character, but then every other level past that is just like a text-based story. So it's kind of dumbed down compared to the console version, but there's a lot of characters. It's got pretty much every character, like every playable character from the Tenchu series is in this. Even that one dude, Tatsumaru from Tenchu 2. Yeah, you can even play as him. So yeah, it's got a lot of variety. As you guys know, I've been playing through the Tenchu series on my YouTube, live streaming it. I'm on Tenchu 2 right now, but I need to continue that, so maybe that's something I'll think about doing in the future. But yeah, Tenchu Time of the Assassins, European only, PSP. Well, Europe and Japan, but Europe's the only way to get it in English. Speaking of which, another ninja game, another PSP Europe import, and that is, of course, Shinobi Tales of the Ninja. Now, this is kind of an offshoot of the original Shinobi for PS2. And this one, unfortunately, doesn't have much of a story. It's more like a mission pack, if anything. A little bit dumbed down compared to the PS2 game. It's still such a shame that the PS2 Shinobi never came out here in the US. Because that one has the actual storyline and everything. And this is just kind of like a spin-off mission pack, really. But I wanted to get every Shinobi game I can in English. Granted, Shinobi 1 on PS2 has a European English version, but it's much harder to play European PS2 games in the US, because I would need either some sort of like mod to my normal PS2, or I would need a European PS2. I would either need a European standard def TV, or I would need to hook it with component cables into my HD TV, and I would probably need a power converter. So I don't know if I'll ever import Shinobi 1. I'll probably just play it on the PS2 emulator. But, you know, I picked up the ones I could. I have this one, and I have Shinobi 2 on PlayStation Vita. Hopefully the series continues. The last game that the makers of this acquire, which are the original Tenchu developers, the newest game they made is Akiba's Beat, and then there was Akiba's Strip, or Akiba's Trip, whatever. And I guess the newest game, Akiba's Beat, is not that great. It's kind of a, I think it's like a JRPG or something, but it's supposedly not very good. I hope they go back to Shinobi and the Way of the Samurai series. Anyways, next up, another PSP. One I've been meaning to get for a while, Killzone Liberation. This is like an isometric shooter. So it's like a top-down view, and it does mimic the Killzone style gameplay, but as an isometric shooter. I do have a digital copy of this on PlayStation Vita. I think I might have even gotten it for free with some promotion. But obviously, as always, I have to have the physical copies of all the games I care about. So yeah, I picked this up. I believe I grabbed this in Madison as well for pretty cheap. I don't remember the price, but it was a little bit below what it goes for on eBay, I know. But yeah, it's a good game. Very well done. Okay, so I guess we will show some specific, well, one specific series that I've been meaning to finish up my collection with. And the first game I picked up is this one, Way of the Samurai 2. Now, I've only actually owned Way of the Samurai 1 on PS2 so far. So I put this one off for a long time. I mean, I thought about buying this back in the day when it first came out. And I believe this got bad reviews, which is stupid because playing it now, it's freaking awesome. Like, it's a lot like Way of the Samurai 1. There's a lot of things changed and improved, but it has actual voice acting for the cutscenes. It has a bigger town, I'm pretty sure. The music's great. You know, the atmosphere's good. It's kind of goofy and everything, but that's kind of the token of this series. But yeah, it was kind of hard to find this one. You know, I couldn't find it anywhere locally, obviously. And even eBay, like, all the copies were pretty crappy. But thankfully, and I must thank my friend Sega CD Universe, helped me find this copy. Because I didn't even think of looking at half.com for video games. I mean, I knew about it, but it just didn't cross my mind. I don't know, maybe my life is too safe or something. I don't go outside my safe zone, but, you know, he helped me out to find this, so I really thank him for giving me that idea. I found a great condition copy. It's pretty sure it's like pretty much mint. Yeah, like, yeah, there's no scratches on this at all, and has the instruction manual, so yeah, and I paid a decent price. Like, all the eBay ones wanted like $30, $40 for scratched up copies, and this was $20, free shipping, perfect condition copy. So thanks, Sega CD Universe, for the good info about half.com. Alright, so next is another game in the Way of the Samurai series, and this is a spin-off. It's called Samurai Western, and it's very different from the normal Samurai Way of the Samurai games. This is more of a straight-up action game, kind of like, you know, God Hand or Devil May Cry, whatever. But this takes place in the Wild West. You're a lone samurai wandering around, slicing up cowboys, of course, and you can dodge bullets, deflect bullets. It doesn't really have the choose-your-own-adventure, you know, open-world RPG style that the Way of the Samurai series is known for. But it kind of takes some of the mechanics and applies them to an action-y game. And it's really cool. I like the art style. I like that you can toggle like an old, grainy, like, you know how the old Western movies kind of had a lot of scratches on the film and grain. You can toggle that for the cutscenes, so it gives it that nice, like, Western film feel. So it's very cool. Also made by Acquire. I don't know if I mentioned that, but the whole Way of the Samurai series is made by Acquire, which is the Tenchu 1 and 2 developers, Tenchu 4 developers, Shinobi and Way of the Samurai, and Akiba's Beat and Strip. But yeah, this is very cool. I'm glad. I was meaning to pick this up when it first came out because it was highly recommended back in the day, but you know, my funds were limited back then, so I couldn't pick everything up. So I believe this came out like 16 years ago, or no, 11 years ago. Came out in 2005. I think that's 11 years. And yeah, so I said I'd pick it up. 11 years later, I finally did. And this was sealed. You guys saw me unbox this one on an earlier video. So yes, very cool. Got all the PS2 Way of the Samurai games now. So, and I didn't stop there, because there's more Way of the Samurai games. Next one, Way of the Samurai 3 for PS3. Now, this is on PC as well, but again, want a physical copy. I don't remember how much I paid for this one, but it wasn't super expensive. I think it was like $20, $25. And yeah, it's mint condition. Usually PS3 games are pretty good condition because, you know, the Blu-rays have a protective coating on them. But yeah, look at this. A big, thick manual. Wow. Don't see that nowadays. When did this one come out? 2008, so this one's kind of old. But yeah, I didn't keep up with the series past the first game, so glad to finally catch up. This one is excellent so far. I played it for about an hour or two, and it's classic Way of the Samurai, but just in HD, so it's got the choose your own adventure style, and it kind of adds, it seems like it's the same graphics engine as Shinobi 2. So it's got like the physics when you kill guys, it's got ragdoll physics and stuff. So yeah, it's very good. Highly recommend this game. And then one more Way of the Samurai game. Now this one was released digital only in the US, but in Europe it got a physical copy, Way of the Samurai 4. So this kind of continues the same gameplay style as 3 had, all the refinements of that, but it's in a port town instead of just kind of like a regular Japanese village. So this is around the time when I believe originally it was the Americans coming over to, I don't know if it was the American colonies or what, but they changed it to the British coming over to Japan, so it's kind of like Japanese versus the foreigners type of deal. And again, you have to choose the side between the Japanese natives or the British foreigners. So yeah, this one's a little bit glitchy though. It's got a ton of screen tearing in it, which you can actually fix through kind of a glitch. You save your game, you quit out to the main menu, and then you start a game back up. And for some reason that eliminates all the screen tearing. So you just basically have to load a save game and then back out of it every time you play if you don't want screen tearing. And you know, it's supposedly got a bunch of other glitches, which I haven't really gotten into it very far. But this is also on PC, a good old games copy, DRM free. So that's a good way to play it as well. But I'm really glad to have a physical copy. Had to import it, but yeah, very happy with this. So that's the entire Way of the Samurai series. Now we're down to about 9 more games. I guess I'll continue with the... Oh yeah, these are all PS2. So here's one I found at Goodwill the other day. Mortal Kombat Armageddon for PS2. Now this is the last PS2 generation Mortal Kombat game that came out. And this tried to combine like every single Mortal Kombat character in the series, similar to Mortal Kombat Trilogy did. But supposedly it's not as good. I haven't actually tried it yet, but there's no like unique fatalities for any of the characters. You have to create the fatalities yourself. So from what I know, it's like a limited template of like fatalities you can do, where you like rip off their arm and like beat them with it, and then rip off their head. And it's like a timer that goes down. You get to do different fatality stuff. So some people may like that, some might not. And I guess they toned down the amount of fighting styles each character has because there's so many characters. So, but, you know, it's interesting. I got it for $4 at Goodwill. Great condition. I think it's pretty much mint, you know, with the manual and everything. It's got a couple light scratches, but, you know, I pretty much picked it up just so I have the entire Mortal Kombat series. I'm only missing a few games. I think all I need now is Deadly Alliance and Mortal Kombat Special Forces on PS1, but I don't see any reason to buy that one. And of course there's tons of ports that I don't have, but I have all the main games in the series other than Deadly Alliance now that I have this. So, yeah. Alright, let's move on. There's two more I found in Madison pre-played. I'll just hold them both up. It's Ace Combat 4 and Ace Combat 5. Ace Combat 5, The Unsung War, and Ace Combat 4 is Shattered Skies. These were dirt cheap. I think they were like $4 or $5 each. And I want to get all the Ace Combat games. I have Ace Combat 3, 4, 5, and Ace Combat X on PSP. So I need Air Combat on PS1, Ace Combat 2, Ace Combat 6 on 360, and then there's a bunch of side games. There's like 2 more PS2 side games, and I think 1 or 2 more 360 era side games, and then the new one's coming out next year. The new one just got delayed to 2018, which I'm kind of glad because I'm trying to collect all these first, so it gives me a little bit more time before the new one comes out. But yeah, these are great kind of arcadey flight combat games. And yeah, they're just a ton of fun to pick up and play. You don't need to be super good at flight sims to be able to enjoy these. And they got kind of a Japanese style story rather than, you know, just like a Western game. So yeah, I guess I think the 5th game is supposedly one of the best. So I'm glad I got this. So yep, not much more to say about that. 2 games I'm really glad I finally got, and I didn't really understand these games, like how to play them properly back in the day, and that is Shinobi on PS2 and Nightshade on PS2. Nightshade being the sequel to Shinobi. So I have Shinobi 3 and Shinobi Legions so far, and these are 2 other very good Shinobi games. I don't know if I'll collect them all, but these ones are very good. I didn't understand the difficulty of this one because it had this system where your life is constantly draining if you don't kill enemies. But when I play it nowadays, I just realized that you're just meant to play these super fast, running through the levels, kind of speed run like, killing all the enemies as fast as possible. It really tries to mimic the speed of the old arcade style Shinobi games, but in 3D. And nowadays, I think this is one of the most well done, you know, 2D to 3D translated games. You know, it's up there with, in my opinion, Super Mario 64. What was another good game that transitioned to 3D? There's not a lot that really did. I know there's, well, Metroid Prime was another one. It was vastly different, but it was well done. But yeah, I think these are really good. Nightshade isn't quite as good. I don't like how they toned down the gore and the blood and gore effects in Nightshade. It's pretty much non-existent. But this is just really satisfying to cut enemies up and watch them fall apart. But yeah, gameplay-wise, these are both great. 60 frames per second games as well on PS2. So very high-speed, fluid gameplay. Okay, we're getting down to it. Last 4. And I'm surprised this video's only 35 minutes so far, 34 minutes. But this one I picked up at the Madison, Wisconsin pre-played. That is Nanobreaker. And this is made by the guy who did Castlevania Symphony of the Night, you know, all the DS Castlevania games, Game Boy Advance Castlevanias, the PS2 Castlevanias, Lament of Innocence and Curse of Darkness. And he made this after the PS2 Castlevania games. And this got, I think this one bombed in the reviews. I can kind of see why. The gameplay is kind of repetitive, but at the same time, it's really not as bad as the reviews said back then. It's got a lot of depth to the combat system, but yeah, the combat is kind of repetitive because you're just like hacking and slashing away at enemies, but it's really fun because they just bleed profusely and you can just chop them to pieces, and it's really flashy. And paying it like $4, $3-4 for this nowadays, it's really not that bad, and you don't get many games like this anymore, so it's kind of refreshing to play something like this nowadays. So yeah, Nanobreaker, it's interesting. Pretty sure this was PS2 only too, so it's kind of an interesting exclusive. So yeah, glad to finally get that because I'm a huge fan of the Castlevania creator Itagaki. So yeah, alright, I guess we'll do these two. So I'm also trying to finish up collecting the Soul Calibur series, and these are two of the games I picked up, Soul Calibur 2 and Soul Calibur 3. I do have Soul Blade on PS1 and Soul Calibur on Dreamcast. I also have Soul Calibur 4 on PS3, and these are obviously weapons-based fighters, 3D. I didn't really understand the combat of them very much, but I've been playing them a lot more recently and playing through the training modes, and now I kind of see more how it works. It has a lot to do with like using the running mechanics and the sidestepping mechanics while you attack to do a lot of different styles of attacks. And yeah, it's really interesting fighting game series. So the one game I wasn't able to find for this pickups video is Soul Calibur 5, and honestly I didn't even know that Soul Calibur 5 existed until now. I thought 4 was the newest one. I guess 5 just totally flew under the radar for me. Maybe it did for a lot of people, but yeah, I picked up, you know, the 2, I don't remember what I paid, maybe like $10, $15, maybe $20, I can't remember. Same with this. I think they were both like $10 to $15, pretty sure. They weren't a lot. No, they were even less. I think they were like $8 to $10 each. So yeah, and this part 2 that I got, it's like the version that came with like a little demo disc for Namco stuff, I guess. And I'll have to check out, see what demos are on there. And the reason I went with the PS2 version of 2 instead of the GameCube or Xbox version is simply because of compatibility with newer system. I have a backwards compatible PS3, so I'm able to play this on my HD TV, and this does support progressive scan. I saw a couple articles saying this one is interlaced only, but it does in fact have a progressive scan mode. You have to hold triangle and X as the game boots up to enable that. And you know, it's a little bit more jagged edges than the GameCube or Xbox versions, but I do like the fact that Hitachi or Hihachi, whatever, the guy from Tekken is in this. So it's cool to have Link in the GameCube version, and I'd like to have that one eventually. But I like the PS2 controller more. I like that I can play this on my PS3. I mean, technically I can play the GameCube version on my Wii, but my Wii is in this room, not on my HD TV, so I just went with this version just so I can play it on my HD TV easily. But yeah, 3 is also very good. It adds a lot more story-based stuff. It has like a story mode that's really fleshed out. And yeah, it's kind of more the same of this, but yeah, they're both cool, and I got them both cheap. So, but yeah, I still need to pick up Soul Calibur 5 on, probably I'll get it on PS3. But yeah, I'm going out of town for a few days, so I didn't want to order it, you know, right before I go on a trip. So I'll get it once I come back, and maybe it'll be on a future video. But to be honest, there's probably not going to be a ton more pickups this year, because this is a huge splurge for me. So this last pickup is very cool and very special for me because it contains a lot of games that I wanted to pick up on Sega Saturn and PS1. And that is the Taito Legends 2 collection. This is the PS2 version. And the main games that I wanted this for was Darius Gaiden, another Darius game, like I said, and G Darius, which is... So Darius Gaiden was on, I believe, Sega Saturn only. I might be wrong about that. And I always planned to get it on Sega Saturn, but now the prices are kind of going up. I think it's like $50, $60 now on Saturn. And then G Darius on PS1 is kind of pricey as well. I think it's like $40, $50. And it also has, which one is it? That other shoot 'em up. I'll see it on here in just a second. Where is it? It's a vertical scrolling one. I can't remember the name now. It's can't remember it. Are they not listing it on here? Maybe it's not listed. It's I think it's called Layered Section 2 in Japan, but I forget what it's called here in the US. But yeah, there's Layer Section 1 on Sega Saturn, and that's more 2D, and Layer Section 2 on I think that's on Saturn and PS1. That's more like the pseudo 3D graphics. Now, the Xbox version of this doesn't have the before mentioned games, but it does have the Layer Section 1. But I believe the Xbox version of this is not available in the US. Kind of confusing, I know. But I picked up this one because it has Darius Gaiden, Layer Section 2, and G Darius, which would end up costing me probably $150 to get those all separately on Saturn and PS1. So I got this for $30 on eBay, and the ports are really well done. As far as I know, there's not many issues with them. So for $30, instead of paying $150 for all three, plus you get a bunch of other games, Space Invaders 95, Violence Fight, Super Space Invaders 91. You get Elevator Action Returns, which was also on Sega Saturn, I'm pretty sure. A friend of mine from the Sega Saturn boards, Shamrock, he loves Elevator Action Returns, so he told me definitely try that out, and I looked up videos, and it does look like a really awesome 2D action shooter kind of game. So yeah, this is a very awesome collection. I'm very happy to have it, and now I don't have to buy them on Saturn and PS1. Even though it would be cool to have, you know, the boxes lined up on my shelves and everything. But yeah, very cool game to end this pickups video with. After this, once I'm back from my trip, I'm thinking of ordering another shelf for my retro games. Right now I have the 2 shelves and then kind of some stuff off to the side here. I used to have over there an old PC desk with my old Windows XP PC. And mainly I kept that PC around because there was a few PC games, older PC games, that didn't work quite right on like Windows 7 and through Windows 10. But I checked back with them recently, and they've all received fan-made patches to make them work on Windows 10. So I didn't really see the point of keeping this big, you know, PC desk over here with another PC that I barely use. So yeah, I took the hard drive out of it. I donated the PC tower, and I had a big CRT monitor for it. Donated both of those to Goodwill. Kept the hard drive because I got files on there I got to get off. And that's another thing. It was an, I believe it was an HP PC, like a pre-built. And they designed it so you could not get the fucking hard drive out of there without breaking the front of it off. Like, only one side of it open, so you couldn't get around the back to unscrew the hard drive. So yeah, I had to pull off the front. There was a plastic guard. I had to rip that off, and then you could slide the hard drive out. But man, those pre-built PCs were fucking cancerous. they did not want you to be able to fix anything on those. But yeah, I got rid of it. I got plenty of space over there. So what I'm saying is my next video might be an updated game collection video. I'll show off, I'll have a third shelf, and it'll probably be loaded with games. It might not be completely full. I think I've maybe got like 150 to 200 games to put on that shelf. And I'll probably get a shelf that holds like 400 DVD style games. So yeah, once I get that set up, it's going to make a cool new game collection video. So I'll try to make a really comprehensive one. This room is going to look badass. I'm going to have, you know, these two shelves. I'm going to have a shelf over there. I have the two smaller shelves in front here. Basically my camera's facing away from my retro TV and game setup. But yeah, I'm going to show that off, and I'll show you my living room setup again, even though it's not that different. But yeah, it should be awesome. I will definitely do that video once that's all set up. Other than that, I've just been, you know, working out every day. I've been working out 2 times a day, nearly 7 days a week. There was a stretch where I was sick for a week, and I had to stop halfway through the week. I was too sick to continue. But I'm back on it. My shoulder's a little bit sore today, so I only did 1 workout today. But yeah, I'm going to continue with the workouts. I want you guys to see my transformation on this YouTube channel. So maybe by the time my game collection video rolls around, you'll see less of this chubby face and less of my man boobs. So as you can see right now, I've got my Imperial emblem on my shirt because fuck those rebel cucks. It's all about imperialism, you know. So anyways, I'm gonna put this huge pile of games that made a huge mess on my floor with, as you can see. So yeah, I gotta go put all those away. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Looks like we're almost up to 48 minutes, so good time to sign out. Anyways, thanks for watching everyone, and I will see you on the next video. Peace out.